to be in that community with you and the others for that particular cohort was such a wonderful space for me to show up. I've been in education my whole life, right? Having done a high school degree, a bachelor's degree, a PhD, and then straight into teaching at academia. And this is probably really the only space and experience of learning that I've had over all the years that I've had it where it's really been this magical. It was more for athleticism, for the physicality of, fitness and being around fit people and then being inspired for that motivation. When I began graduate school in 2009 in San Antonio, it was such a big shift for me. Completed a PhD, and during that time of being a postdoc, right after that, achieved my first job, which I'm still at as an assistant professor at a medical school here in San Antonio. I was working full-time as a professor and growing my family, where it was just myself and my husband, to then 3 children. Around 2019, I just by chance was invited to a colleague's home. He was hosting a council person in our city, and the council person wanted to learn more about the needs for public health in our community. And so a lot of us healthcare professionals are at this home discussing it. And I actually ran into an endocrinologist. She and I seemed very aligned with what we wanted to do as far as like with our careers and helping people. But I laughed with her. I said, "You're so zen." How are you doing these big things? And so we had a brief conversation. And the one thing that really stood out to me was that she mentioned she had gone through yoga teacher training with you, the 200 hour. But for some reason, I felt aligned with what this was. I didn't know why. I just knew that I wanted to learn more. What's funny, Mel, is I found you on Instagram. Things that you are sharing touch me in a way that resonates, that makes me want to hold space for that possibility, right? Like, I had already done my career. I had no reason to partake on something new. I knew that there was more to yoga than just being athletic. I think it's very healing when as people we are aware of our capacity to grow, and then we actually invite ourselves to do that and to do the work.
I have been practicing yoga probably since I was 18, 19 years old. It was always something for me to be able to work through the inflexibility that scoliosis had left in my body. It helped me to work through the pain of scoliosis, but I always used it as a band-aid. I didn't do it consistently, and it was something that in the back of my mind I was always sitting there thinking, I really want to become a yoga teacher, but at the same time I can't bend over many days. I can't touch my toes some days. I can't do really flexible poses because that's just not in my body. And so I would look up yoga teacher trainings all the time and then not follow through with them. Working in the hospital system, there was so much heaviness that was in there all the time. And I needed something to bring that light back into me. And so I started looking for things where I could be of service, things that I could do, but also things that I could participate in to help bring that lightness back into me. Exact same time, I found an opportunity to be able to volunteer as medical support for an organization that did adaptive cycling. And at the same time, I said, that's it. I'm committed to this. I'm going to become a yoga teacher, and I'm going to find a yoga teacher that I feel connected to, that I can have a lifelong relationship with. And I need to do this now because of working nights as a nurse. I needed to make sure that I had that schedule set in my calendar far, far in advance. And instead, what I found was MelMarie Yoga, and I found the flexibility, I found the lightness, I found the acceptance. That was huge.
You know, I felt a push, I felt this like knowing and this call to do the yoga teacher training class. And that was like the thing that kind of like opened up Pandora's box, right? But it also kind of cleared my path. Like I gained a lot of clarity from doing yoga teacher training that has literally allowed a path to start emerging in front of me that I am able just to walk upon with more confidence. But I mean, honestly, like with more light and self-guidance, because of the tools and the things that I learned in yoga teacher training. And it's been crazy. Like I've done a lot of things that I never thought I would do, like got Reiki certified, like, have hired different healing coaches and done different healing classes. Like if you had asked me that 2 years ago, I'd be like, no, there's no way that's my journey. And so like it literally like created a pivot, but it's been, yeah, I mean, like the sky's the limit now, you know?
Well, and the impact you're making at UTSA is so inspiring, and it's a model that I'm sure other universities are going to follow.
Oh, no, absolutely. Like, I mean, we're just getting it going, but like, yeah, I want to do all the things and bring in all the tools. And really, the thing for me that felt the best is just the age group, like these young adults that help them in this transitional time, you know, this like 18 to 24-year-old where you're not a child anymore, you don't have your parents, and you're transitioning into being an adult, which we've all been there. Remember what that felt like. Having someone there to kind of be a guide, be a mentor, but also providing them with tools. Like I wish someone had given me some of these tools when I was 18 to 24. Like that didn't happen to me, you know? So I want to be that person that's able to provide them with those tools. So when they can start incorporating them now, but even if it doesn't resonate now, like they're going to remember that whenever they need it. They're going to be like, wait, I remember doing yoga with Miss Marie, you know, and I'm 30 now and I'm feeling stressed and I have a job and kids and I'm married and I feel stressed. Maybe I'm going to go back to yoga because I remember feeling really good when I would do yoga with her.
So before I did yoga teacher training, I thought yoga was just about yoga asanas, just about how you get in this posture and how to be absolutely perfect and the most perfect you can be in this posture. And so I really thought before I did yoga teacher training that that's what yoga was. Even though I knew when I was doing yoga that I was getting a lot of really helping me to get into my body, it was in a more of a negative space than it was a positive space because I was hard on myself. Like, oh, why can't I get it to do this? And why can't I get my body to do that? And, you know, I'm stiff here and stiff there and I'm not that flexible. And so I was hard on myself. But after yoga teacher training, then I was able to see like, it's not about that, you know, so I'm way easier on myself than I was before, you know, with doing yoga. Cause I don't, you know, I'll be 50 years old in 2 weeks, you know, so I'm not the most flexible person. I was hard on my body, you know, so.
Let go of what you think it is. Let go of the expectations that you have, whether it be of yourself or of what you're going into, of what you know, how it should be. I think that is our biggest block, is that we feel like it has to be this way, or, you know, you have this direct, just these expectations. Let go of what you think it needs to be or what, you know, you should be. It's not going to look the same for everybody. It's not going to feel the same for everybody. And I think that is so important to understand, that not everybody's journey is the same. It's not going to look the same. It's not going to feel the same. And that's just so important for people to be okay and comfortable with. This is about me, and how I'm going to feel and look is going to look and feel completely different from anybody else. And I think it's so hard for us to let go of what everybody wants us to look like, and just let go of those expectations.
My name is Aaron Patrick. I'm in the 200-hour yoga teacher training, and I'm allowing it to be a tool to take me to where I want to be. And wherever that ends up, I can't be for sure, but I know that as I go along the journey, it's starting to slowly uncover. And so for me, it's mainly how personal it is. And it's not like a strict system where you have to do this, this, and that to be that, you know. I think what changed was coming out of, I need to be this to be in a yoga practice or whatever, to let me just do what works for me and allow yoga to be like an assistant or a tool alongside that to help guide me and, you know, push me forward and stuff. So it's almost been like a mind opener in a way. I think it's really listening in to like what you want to do, taking time to sit down and actually invest in yourself a little bit, to know what you want. Because, at least just in my experience with myself and others around me, it's a lot of people live in like they live very lightly, might I say. Like they just kind of coast along with life, you know. Don't really think things through deeply. They don't really get in touch with depth. And so allowing that time to like sit down, actually ask a question, write it out, or just maybe you just need to sit and contemplate, go outside in nature and walk, or whatever you're feeling inclined to do. But I think I would stress that importance on, you know, looking at the opportunity of even existing, you know, and seeing what you want to do with that.
Back in the day, I probably couldn't even talk about this with like flood of tears, which I needed to go through, right? And I might just tear up. But finding my voice was so important, and I think Voxer really helped with that, as well as being in front of an audience. So initially when I first started teaching yoga, I would have like the sequence like memorized, you know, that was just the thing. I've learned to like be intuitive with it now and listen, and I think with that I feel like my voice is more authentic, and I'm not sitting there trying to judge myself when I talk, and it's just helped a lot, being able to be with like-minded individuals and speak, because that was a really important thing as well. And self-worth, self-love, all of that. Self-compassion was a big thing, and like I said, being able to be with like-minded individuals, to be able to talk through some of these emotions that in the military, like who are you talking to? Everybody is like, you must be stoic, you must, you know, like show no emotion. Like that's the culture, right? And being with teacher training has really opened up this whole nother side of me that I didn't even really care to know about or knew that I had. Professionally, I will say it's changed so much of how I see things perspective wise. When something crazy happens at work, it's no longer this like woe is me, like it's this person's fault, that thing is wrong, you know. It's more of like self-reflective now, and being able to shift perspectives to a positive and not be so inundated with the negatives that like it ruins my whole entire day, which that's how it used to be for me. And I feel like a lot of people walk around in this world like that, you know, like woe is me, these negative things are happening and I can't see past it, right?
Yeah.
Because I can't shift.
One of the things that we do with MelMarie Yoga is we go the extra mile on mentoring. I know a lot of programs don't do that. We really don't have to do that, but I do it because it really allows a unique space for our clients to be held during their journey and process. Because, I think there's some people who do really well in groups and they're able to hold their own energy in a group. But a lot of people, we tend to censor ourselves more in groups, or a lot of people can get lost in a group. So this is what we use our Voxer walkie-talkie mentoring app for, where at any time they can just say, hey, I have this idea, or I'm struggling with this. And so I get to build this one-on-one direct relationship with the client through their journey, where we mentor and we go deeper into the things, practice teaching, play in the magic, co-create with business stuff. It's just going down the rabbit hole. It's amazing. So the mentorship, I think, is really, really a gift. And I wish I would have had that. Who knows where I'd be and how many mistakes I would have probably not have walked through if I had that early on guidance of this is how you professionally expand, or even going, hey, it's safe to be you.
I know. Mel's like, it's you again. It gives that space, like, to think out loud, or like professional development, or like weird questions to the, like, I just want to understand this more.
It's so convenient because I can be just like doing the dishes, and like when I texted you or I Voxed you about the ascendant thing, I was like, what is an ascendant? And then I'm like, oh, I can Vox it. I'm just like, things that go through your head, you can immediately ask you. So it's really cool.
I would say that absolutely do it, because it will help you so much to dig deeper into yourself and help you with your relationships, to find a community of people that get you and you get them. And I think some of my closest friendships I've had have been through the classes that I've taken with MelMarie.
I am of the mindset that I think everybody should do a yoga teacher training, regardless of what it is that they're wanting to do professionally with the yoga. There's just so much deep, personal, introspective work that happens in a yoga therapy training, in the yoga teacher training, that helps you to be able to declutter your mind, declutter your body, declutter your intentions, your awareness. There's so much that happens in a yoga teacher training, so much that comes to light, that just, it doesn't happen as quickly, or if ever, for a lot of folks, because it is very intense. It's very focused in order to be a good yoga teacher. And when I say that by good yoga teacher, I mean an effective yoga teacher, where you're putting the needs of your clients and your students ahead of your ego, where you're creating the space for them to be able to do their work at their own pace and their own time, and recognizing that it's their journey. You're giving them all of the tools, and you're giving them the guidance and the space, and then stepping away and allowing them to say, it's my time or it's not my time. You're planting the seeds. Good yoga teacher is able to plant all the seeds, so that when the person is able and willing and wanting, they're open to the idea of expanding themselves, elevating themselves. They're doing it in a way where they always feel supported, they always feel seen, they always feel heard, but they never feel pushed. One of the things that I love about this particular program is anybody can do this particular type of yoga, because it is a very person-centric yoga, meaning that while the curriculum is the same for everybody, the application of the curriculum is very person-specific. It is applied in a way to that particular person in the way that they need it in that moment.
So one of the things that I love about the 300 hour that I'm taking with you, the yoga therapy, is in the beginning and throughout, you've thrown like a lot of business coaching and business help. And I feel that that has helped tremendously, and that has stuck with me. And there's been other ideas, like I know that one of our other teachers decided to do a prenatal module for herself. Like, she's creating a course similar to what you have, and that's based on your advice while taking your class.
Everything you're sharing is why I think that, one, raising the volume and awareness on, in the yoga industry, we do have these issues of gatekeeping because of not understanding business and then the fear of competition. But if everybody is in their organic gifts, and I even think about San Antonio, there's 3 million people here. We don't have enough yoga teachers to source the health issues of our community. So why are we even questioning or batting an eye at competition? And part of the reason it feels like there's competition is because we're always taught one way. Be a yoga teacher to teach in a studio. Maybe if you're lucky, you'll own one day. And we know that that doesn't create the most sustainable situations. There are so many textures professionally on how this work blends into mainstream healthcare, mainstream corporations and public education, to just community events and opportunity, to art, to create, to bond and bring people together. There's infinite ways to do it, but it's going to be sourced from your gifts and what lights you up. And if we are always doing this, well, I got to silence my gifts and what I really love so I can fit the mold of what the yoga industry is saying or what other studios in my community are doing, you're never going to bloom. And eventually it's going to become this competition. It's going to feel scarcity when we're looking at the wrong angle, because there's a whole world that's hungry for coming back home to themselves.
And this is what you're teaching not only in your in-person, but in the modules.
Yes.
You're giving your students this so they can take what they learn and take what you've given them and bloom.
If you take any training with MelMarie, whether it's even our business course to the Vedic astrology to any of our trainings, this is the underlane. It's like, if we want to heal the world, my job and what I'm passionate about is empowering people to go and do their magic and to be their best selves. Even if that means that you're a stay-at-home mom and you're just being your best self for your kids, because what you're holding for them is the future of our life. And so of this world, it's the future for my child too. And so when we think about how this stuff pours out in the world, that is underlaying everything we do. And the module teacher training is the same content that's in the in-person trainings. You know, the only difference of content between trainings is we have a 200-hour, which is for those who haven't become a yoga teacher yet. We have the 300-hour, which is for yoga teachers ready to expand their professionalism. And then the yoga therapy program, which is for those who want to be clinical yoga therapists and work in healthcare. So obviously each program has its own curriculum, but whether you do the module or in person, it's the same content.
Oh my gosh, it's life-changing. I would start with that. It will change your life. It will change your life. It will change the way that you live, your wellness, vitality, I mean, everything overall, just make your life better. Healing, it's healing. Again, it's not just about going into a training to become a teacher. It's more than that. It's really changing, evolving, and really understanding, who it is that you are and what it is that you're meant to, be.
Take me down to the river where the peace won't run dry. Gather round at the river where my soul comes to life.